Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, U.S. Immigration News. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about rights groups warn Trump's executive order would restore the Muslim travel ban. Civil rights groups have raised alarms about a new executive order signed by former President Donald Trump, fearing it could revive and expand travel bans targeting predominantly Muslim nations and others perceived as ideological threats to the U.S. If you're interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. January 22nd, Reuters. U.S. civil rights groups are warning that an executive order signed by President Donald Trump on Monday lays the groundwork for the reinstatement of a ban on travelers from predominantly Muslim or Arab countries. The American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee said the new order relied on the same statutory authority to justify Trump's 2017 travel ban and offered even wider latitude to use ideological exclusion to deny visa requests and remove individuals who had already entered the country. The National Iranian Americans Council said Trump's order on protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats would separate U.S. families from loved ones and lower enrollment at U.S. universities. Trump's new order opens new tab. Signed on Monday amid a flurry of other measures, sets a 60-day window for top state, justice, intelligence, and homeland security officials to identify countries whose vetting and screening processes are so deficient as to warrant a partial or full suspension on the admission of nationals from those countries. It goes beyond Trump's 2017 ban on travelers from 7 predominantly Muslim countries, adding language that denies people visas or entry to the U.S. if they bear hostile attitudes toward its citizens, culture, government institutions, or founding principles, and sets up a process that could lead to the removal of those granted visas since January 2021. The White House did not reply to repeated queries about the order. Joseph Burton, a former State Department official and visa officer, told a conference call organized by NIAC that the new order could give the government a lot of undefined authority to deny a range of visas for students, workers, and education exchange participants. ADC will decide in the coming days whether to mount a legal challenge to the order. Its National Executive Director Abed Ayoub told Reuters. He said it set a very dangerous precedent that could even be used against right-wing groups if a Democratic administration took office at a future date. This order will allow for the removal of individuals in the U.S. based on what they say or what they've expressed and what positions they hold, he said. If they attend a protest that the administration may deem hostile, they're going to have their visas revoked, and they're going to face removal proceedings. Trump has repeatedly said he would implement travel bans on people from certain countries or with certain ideologies, expanding on a policy upheld by the Supreme Court in 2018. During the presidential campaign, Trump said he would reimpose travel bans on people from the Palestinian enclave of Gaza, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, and anywhere else that threatens our security. Trump has also said that he would seek to block communists, Marxists, and socialists from entering the U.S. Trump to deploy troops to U.S.-Mexico border in hardline immigration strategy. The controversial move follows a flurry of executive actions, including the suspension of the Refugee Resettlement Program. The Pentagon is set to deploy up to 1,500 active duty troops to the U.S.-Mexico border as part of Donald Trump's aggressive new immigration enforcement strategy, marking a significant militarization of the southern border. Defense officials told the New York Times that the controversial move comes amid a flurry of executive actions targeting immigration in the early days of Trump's presidency. The Washington Post on Wednesday reported that the number could be much higher, with military officials preparing to send as many as 10,000 troops to the border. The acting defense secretary, Robert Salesses, is expected to authorize the deployment, though specific units have not yet been identified. These troops will join the 2,500 Army Reserve and National Guard soldiers who were previously called to active duty in recent months to support federal law enforcement officials at the border. As the Times notes, It remains unclear what role the 4,000 troops will play under the Trump administration. The administration's hardline approach has already created ripple effects across the immigration system. The State Department has suspended the refugee resettlement program, leaving thousands of previously approved refugees stranded worldwide. Trump has also reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy and announced plans to pursue expanded use of capital punishment for certain immigration-related offenses. While military presence at the border is not unprecedented with National Guard and active duty deployments dating back to 2006 under various administrations, the potential scope of the military's involvement in enforcement operations would represent a dramatic shift from traditional support roles. When questioned about specific operational details in a call with reporters first announcing the executive actions on Inauguration Day, which included potential military actions targeting drug cartels, White House officials said such decisions would be left to the Secretary of Defense. The sweeping changes have sparked concern among immigration advocates and local officials, who worry about the unprecedented scope of enforcement measures and the potential implications of using military personnel in border operations, a move not seen in recent U.S. history. Administration officials have justified these measures by claiming that previous border policies under Joe Biden created an unconscionable risk to public safety, public health, and national security. In a Monday call with reporters, though critics argue the actions represent an excessive militarization of immigration enforcement, critics argue that the policies reflect excessive militarization and ideological exclusion, raising concerns about their humanitarian implications and the precedent they set for U.S. immigration and national security strategies. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel US Immigration News. We hope you are doing great. In this video, we are going to talk about rights groups on Trump's executive order to restore the Muslim travel ban. Civil rights groups in the US have expressed concern over a new executive order signed by former President Donald Trump, which they claim could lead to a reinstatement of travel bans targeting predominantly Muslim or Arab nations. The American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee highlighted that the order relied on the same legal framework as Trump's 2017 travel ban but expanded its scope, potentially allowing for visa denials and removal of individuals already in the US. The National Iranian American Council criticized the order, warning it could separate families, hinder university enrollments, and disproportionality affects certain communities. The order requires federal agencies to identify countries with an insufficient vetting and screening process within 60 days, potentially leading to a partial or complete suspension of entry for their nationals. It also introduced a new language denying visas or entry to individuals perceived as harboring hostile attitudes towards US values. It is argued this could enable broad discretion to deny visas to students, workers, and exchange participants, as well as revoke visas granted since January 2021. The White House has not commented on the order, but critics, including Ahan Ayob of the ADC, warn it set a dangerous precedent. They fear the policy could be misused against various groups, including political protesters, leading to visa revocation and removal processing based on ideological grounds. Trump's campaign statements and previous policies suggest an intention to impose travel bans on individuals from countries like Libya, Syria, and Yemen, and those associated with ideologies such as socialism or Marxism. Simultaneously, Trump pursued an aggressive immigration strategy involving the militarization of the US-Mexico border. This included deploying up to 1,500 active duty troops, with reports suggesting the number could rise to 10,000. These troops join exciting deployment of National Guard and Army Reserve soldiers. These unprecedented military presence reflect a shift from traditional support roles to potential enforcement operation, a move that has alarmed immigration advocates and local officials. The administration also reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, suspended refugee resettlement, and proposed harsher penalties for immigration related offenses. While similar deployment occurred under previous administrations, the scale and enforcement focus of Trump's measures have drawn significant criticism. Immigration advocates argue these actions excessively militarize immigration enforcement, undermine refugee protection, and create undue hardships for vulnerable populations. Officials justified these measures by claiming they address risk to public safety and national security allegedly created by previous border policies. However, critics view these actions as extreme and a departure from the US traditional approach to immigration and refugee management. The debate underscored deep dimension over the balance between the security and humanitarian concern in the US immigration policy.